Conflict management and negotiation skills. What is conflict management? Conflict management is the practice of being able to identify and handle conflict sensibly, fairly, and efficiently. Kung usa ka practice conflict management, dapat mag-handle kag conflicts is dapat sincere, dapat fair, dapat efficient, dapat effective, diba? So, it is the process of dealing with perceived incompatibilities or disagreements arising from, for example, diverging opinions, objectives, and needs. Because since conflict in a business are a natural part of the workplace, it is important that there are people who understand conflicts and know how to resolve them. How to manage conflict at work. So, first is take immediate action. Resolving conflict as soon as possible. Dapat, kung mag-take kag usa ka immediate actions, dapat ma-resolve yun na as soon as possible. Kaya kailangan man siya immediate man, di ba? Dapat dali. Nga, like, for example, nagka-conflict mo sa usa ka industry or sa usa ka company, dapat lagi mo yung action na nga mo hatag pag more actions, di ba? So, next is frame discussion positively. So, dapat, kung means is, instead of frame the meeting with employees as a brainstorming discussion or a chat session, or simply says you'd like to get options on the matter. So, dapat, frame discussion positively, dapat mo brainstorming mo sa employee, kung unsa ilang ideyang mahatag, di nya ma-connect ka to sa inyong conflict nga trabaho nga usa ka problema mo na lang siya gamiton. So, focus on the issue, not the person. So, dapat mag-focus jud ka sa usa ka issue sa inyong kanang work. Dapat di ka mo personally, di ka hilabot sa usa ka personal life sa usa nimo ka employee. So, practice active listening. So, practice active listening is about listening to each speaker and trying to understand their message without interruption. Dapat magkasabot jud ka sa unsay gipasabot sa usa ka speaker. Dapat ikaw ka mo interrupt kay practice active listener man. So, dapat i-practice mo kagalingon nga mo-listening kadto kay usahay magka-conflict, diba? Like, for example, ikaw may gipato sa imong boss kay paminawon ka dito nya isulti ato sa imong boss kung unsay meetingan or unsay gipasabot dito sa usa ka work or usa ka meeting nya pagtubag nimo ato sa imong boss dili na mao. Dapat active listener jud ka mo na magka-conflict sa imong work. Next is example of the conflict management. Task-based conflicts. Disagreements about the problem solution or decision regarding concrete issue at work such as resources, work assignment, interruption, or facts, policies, etc. For example, ang task-based conflicts. Like, kung na mo gibuhat nga task niya, na-member nimo nga wala dito or wala ka attend, magka-conflict na, diba? Kay iyahan ng part ang 80% pero wa mo kaybaw unsay isulti or like kanang mo kaybaw kung unsa nga about ang iya i-deliver sa usa ka meeting. For conflict with customers. All forms of conflict between a private consumer or family and business which is sold them a product or service. So, conflict customers kay kana na mag-conflict na ta sa usa ka customer. Dapat kanang be fair lang pud ta nga or dapat patient lang pud ta nga mosabot sa tong customer kay ingon bala customer is always right. So, discrimination occurs when person is treated less favorably than others because of characteristics that are not related to. So, discrimination. For example, discrimination of the work na ay favorable, di ba? Nagman yun na always sa usa ka work or sa usa ka school. Colleague conflict. Keep your attention on work issue only. Be assertive and listen objectively and empathically. dapat kung namagay mag-collect or like namoy kanang issue sa iyong work or workmates or sa employee, dapat kanang pay attention lang gyapon ta sa work issue sa ka butang. Why it is important conflict management? So well-managed conflict becomes the key to effective communication in high-performing teams. So, ang conflict management is makatabang pud ni siya, di ba? Kay ma-manage na to atong time management nga effective pud ta as communication, di ba? So, when arguments arise in the workplace, productivity typically declines. It can be difficult to focus or work together on a project when underlying conflict is present. Resolving this issue at the root can lead to greater efficiency and goal achievement. So, there was 5 types and strategies in conflict management: competing, collaborating, compromising, avoiding, and accommodating. So, first is collaborating. So, collaborating a style is used when it's critical to maintain all parties' relationship or when the solution itself will have a significant impact. So, this is all about the style produce the best long-term result, but it's frequently the most difficult and time-consuming to achieve. Collaborating is very important for the industry. Kaya mag-collaborate mo sa usa ka idea, kung sa inyong na-collaborate, mo na yung gamiton, di ba, sa usa ka work mo na yung solution kung naamoy mga conflict agreement or conflict nga problem. So next is competing. Styles reject compromise and does not give in the opinions or desires to others. So competing kay means ana niya sabot diri kay dili mohatag og chance sa others. Dapat one party admit how a believed situation should be handled, will not back down until they get their way. Di gid sila mo kuan mo give way, di ba? Mo gyud na magka-conflict yun na sa usa ka work. So avoiding seek to reduce conflict by ignoring it, removing the conflicting parties, or evading it in some way. So this conflict management reduces that team members who are in disagreement can be removed, the project deadlines pushed, or people reassigned to other departments. So dapat ka nga i-resign ka sa lain department, diba? Ni avoiding nga magka-ignore na mo, or like for example nagka-avoid mo sa yung workmate inana. So accommodating is a style, is all about putting the needs of the other party ahead one's own. You let them win and have their way. Accommodation is used when you didn't care as much about the issue as the other person. If prolonged, the conflict is not worth your time, or you believe you're wrong. Compromising. Style seeks a middle ground by asking both parties to give up some aspects of their desires in order to reach an agreement. So compromising is the style that sometimes referred to a lose-to-lose, because both parties will have to give a few things in order to reach agreement in the larger issue. Dapat dawato na lang kung unsay consequence. So conflict that can occur in the hospitality and tourism industry. Grievance conflict between an employee and employer, or employee and another. So dapat mo kuan jud kasi mo hinaing kung unsay mo naka-conflict about sa imong employee. So effects of interpersonal conflict on an organization. So magkahitabo man gyud nang conflict sa tong mga interpersonal life. So poor communication to get to the guests and staff. So magka-conflict po pagka poor communication sa tong staff or sa tong guests. Colleague conflict, customer complaints. So conflict management skills necessary at workplace. First is have a patience in the workplace. This is very important. Have a patience. You need to have a patience to be able to hear everyone's point of view on the patient to take the necessary time to manage the concept of moving forward. This is very important to the patient. Can also help you to avoid conflict because you are less likely to succumb to frustrating scenario. Next is understand body language. You may be able to understand if they are frustrated, mad, upset, or happy just by viewing if they are cross their arms, roll their eyes, or display any other movements that indicate how they are feeling. So makita na gyud na sa sa ilang body language, diba, kung unsa sila kamaldita or like for example our customers kung magminaldita na siya dapat ko lang gyapon ta give lang gyapon ta sila, diba, para why gubot nga mahitabo mo na yung conflict say mo sukol, diba, ang or an employee mo sukol. Next is be impartial. One of the best ways to manage conflict is by staying impartial even if the conflict is between a close friend or a new employee you don't know well. So, once gani nga na mahitabo or like, for example, imong best friend ba na niya, imong kailang or imong new nga employee niya ang nakasaday dito ang imong best friends, dapat di jud ka mapadapig like kung nasayop imong amiga dapigan pa jud nimo, hindi na pwede. Be impartial, walang dapiganan, walay gipad dapigan siya. So negotiation, what is negotiation? So it is deliberative process between two or more actors that seek a solution to a common issue or who are bartering over an item or a value. Negotiation is a strategic discussion that resolves an issue in a way that both parties find acceptable. So negotiation is very important in our business, family, friends, and work because negotiation is a part of our life. It is very important in our life because it is negotiate by others. So there was a three points in negotiation. First is negotiating hard does not mean to disrespect the other person. Though is if we could just order what we wanted, we would not need to negotiate in the first place. Third is it is in your own interest to understand the other party. So kung unsa man gyud iyang masabtan or like dapat mo respect na lang puta silang decision, diba, kung di sila mo negotiate sa tuwa, kung nga mo understand na lang ta or mo sabot na lang ta sa other parties. So there was a fourth principle of negotiations si Harvard. So the video that I watched earlier, first is separate the other party from the issue you are negotiating. So it is very important to consider the other person, the enemies who were easy to be unfriendly and use very bad or abusive words towards them personally. So i-separate gid na kung enemy mo magkuyog pa day mo sa usa ka party, diba? Dapat lahi na gyud kay separate other party from the issue you are negotiating. Pero nay sometimes nga kailangan na gyud nimo mo-negotiate imong enemy, dapat negotiate lang yun, walay labot sa personal life, diba? So next is put ourselves in the shoes of the other party to understand why they have taken of their position. Na kailangan po dito mo sabot. You need to be less than argue of the other person. If you have an interest of the other person, it is always easier to negotiate. We just need to understand why they say no. Dapat mo sabot ta silang decision kung anong ginana kay interest magkataan na nga usa ka butang, diba? Interest magkata ka sa person. Third is first develop a set of criteria to be fulfilled by a solution that all parties can argue at. Excuse me. This principle prevents that we implement a quick and dirty compromise solution instead of finding that win-to-win solution which we know always exists. If next time you cannot agree with your friends with for example, which movie to watch, first get everyone to provide their criteria or a good movie. Like, mubuhat mo criteria nga, kasi mo ato sa kanang, kasi mo ato sa movie, kasi mo ato sa kanang party or inana. Dapat mo, himo mo agreement. So, develop more than one solution so parties have a choice. Because people like to choice. Diba? Ganahan mo gud tag choices. Because the benefit having you always automatically, because having more solution develop and discuss is that you also automatically have a plan B in the rare event that plan dapat natay usa ka solution more than pagani ana para okay or like natay daing problema, natay plan B nga mahimo. There was a 10 negotiation skills. First is communication. Yes, communication is very important in negotiation. Organization is there's a lot of going during a negotiation. With all data goals, relationship need to manage and dapat well organized gud atong pag negotiate sa usa ka butang. Dapat plan things out and give yourself the best chance to succeed by being organized. Active listening. You have a chance to really understand what the person is saying, allowing to sidestep and any potential conflicts because of misunderstanding. Dapat active listening ka. Dapat di ka magbuhat-buhat og istorya. Curiosity. Asking questions is a great way of checking to understanding and pushing your counterpart for more information. Ma-curious man gid ta sa usa ka butang, di ba? Daghan kita pangutan na, unsam day na, unsay buhaton ana, di ba? Next is know your batna. Batna means before walking into a negotiation, you have to be familiar with your best alternative to negotiate agreement or batna. When negotiating or comes agreement is to walk away. Dapat kung agreement ta, di ba lakaron man jud na, lakaron means kanang precision. Di ba? It is a process. Second, the sixth part is build a working relationship. Negotiation are just discussion between people, and better you can know the people outside of the deal of the more successful you'll be. And think big picture. Can stall because of one sticking point instead of getting in weeds about one taking like price. Think about big picture, and other places are called push of trade-off. Dapat magunahon na ka kung sakto ba imong pag-negotiate or sakto ba imong gibuhat. Pay attention to carrying bias. So, ang carrying bias is the perception negotiators get when they're really on the first piece of information they get, usually the first price name. So, use MESO. MESO means multiple, equivalent, simultaneous offers. It's just a tactic to make your counterpart think of bigger picture instead of battling through the contract of deal point of time. The last is set goals. Sometimes negotiate gets stalled when people get to details of implementation instead of hammering over detail before making a deal of contingent. Contrast goal setting can help both groups and avoid emphasize and create an outline for the future, because set goals is very important in negotiation. Dapat nagyo mo set goals ana before mo business or mo negotiate with others. So rate yourself. I'll rate myself on identify negotiation skills. So I rate myself in 2.5 maybe, kay it's because I know myself I am not really in negotiation. Yes. may skills pero hindi pa nabubuo or hindi pa nakilala. That's all. Thank you.